Hello, everyone, and welcome to the best and worst of Walt Disney World, brought to you by Dreams Unlimited Travel, experts at helping you plan your next Disney vacation. Visit them on the web at dreamsunlimitedtravel.com. And I am your host, Rhino Clavin, and in this week's episode, we are going to be talking about the many adventures of Winnie the Pooh. And to help me have this conversation, we have Denny Sunderly.
Hey there.
Craig Williams.
Oh, hoo, 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 hoo. Ahoy, ahoy.
Oh. And we're going to be doing a little bit of a sort of a love it, hate it, or update it. We haven't been in the parks in a while, so it's we're doing it at our houses. And so we're just going to talk about the things that we like, the things that we don't like about the many adventures of Winnie the Pooh and just the attraction in general. And if you are not familiar with it or up to if it's not fresh in your memory, we have a ride through that you can check out on WDW Info on our YouTube channel over there, the Diz. That's youtube.com/WDW Info. And if you are watching this on YouTube, I'm going to play that ride through right now.
Acre Wood.
Ask me, he'll never reach that goal.
Come dance with me. Making it just great, doesn't it? Dance right out of the ride. Look out for the mirrors. They're still hungry. Still hungry. Together to say
It was just like we were there. Wasn't that fantastic? Are we doing the thing when guests clap at the end of an attraction for some weird reason?
Yep.
Like as if they weren't expected to come back. So the cast is like, whoa, we did it. We brought them back.
You made it.
Yeah.
Way
Wow.
to go, everyone.
Wow. That's almost everyone today. We got them all. Yeah. So just I'd like to start just in general, our feelings on many adventures of the Winnie the Pooh. Denny, why don't you tell us? You like it? You don't like it? You're just in the middle? Where are you?
I like it, and each time I ride the attraction, I'm reminded of how much I like it. I go, oh, well, yeah, I do enjoy this. There's, there are little cute things and things that surprise me and little details if I'm willing to stop and really look around. So, yeah, overall, broad brush, I enjoy it.
What about you, Craig?
I think the singular definition of the many adventures of Winnie the Pooh is charming. It's it's not mind-blowing. Chances are, if you have a child or an adult in your life that loves Winnie the Pooh, there's always the chance that it could be their absolute favorite attraction. And that's not necessarily a bad thing. I know there's a lot of people out there who don't feel that it has that classic vibe to it that Peter Pan's Flight has, that the Snow White's Scary Adventures had before it was given the eviction to make way for Princess Fairy Tale Hall, and then a further down the road attraction known as Seven Dwarfs Mine Train that has been open now for years and years. So I don't know. I'm talking like we're back in the grand old ages of 2012 right now, but it's a charming attraction. It's not. I don't know if I would say it's great. I don't think I would ever say it's terrible. It's charming.
I feel like my thing is it just is. It's not offensive. It's not. I don't. If they took it away, I don't know if if it'd be that thing where you're like, oh man, I'm so mad they're getting rid of this. Like, I do love Winnie the Pooh, so it's not a question of that. I think I have this weird disconnect with Disney being Winnie the Pooh, though. I don't know why, because in animated forms, it's always been Disney, right? I mean, I know obviously it was it was the books before, but it's one of those. And I watched the movie when I was a kid, the shorts and stuff, and I don't know. It's just a weird. I think it's because when I was a kid, it was Mr. Toad's Wild Ride was over here, right? And then 20,000 Leagues Under the Sea was also like in this area somewhere, wasn't it?
It was across the way.
Yeah. And it's I'm not saying like I'm chained to those or anything like that, but I think it's just like Winnie the Pooh. I had a little bit of a gap where I hadn't come for a while, and so I don't associate it with like my being a kid at Disney. But I love the characters. I love that Winnie the Pooh is represented in the park. And I think if you are somebody like my cousins definitely associate it with being like Disney and stuff like that. So I'm happy it's there. I just, I don't know. I'm very, I don't know about it. So let's go into it. What are some like standout parts of the attraction for you? Like, do you have a favorite part, Denny?
For
All of
me,
All of it. From the second you step forward.
Thing, beginning to end. For me, it starts before you even get on the attraction. I think the interactive queue is fantastic.
Was fantastic.
It was. Now that we know how filthy it really can be. Yeah.
As a daughter of a registered nurse, it always gave me pause that we were all putting our paws all over everything in that queue. Yeah. I have a feeling if they put a black light in there, the whole thing would glow like crazy. So, but I think if you have a kid in that line, and I've been with kids in that queue line before, that's just a lot of fun because it's really hard to wait. It's so hard to wait for an attraction. And that attraction always seems to have a pretty sizable wait. Not like Peter Pan's Flight kind of wait, but it has a wait normally. And so anything that helps Bobby Sue get through the queue without my hair turning gray, let's do that. And it's neat to kind of just see Rabbit's Garden and then the honey wall. And then for me, it is, like I said earlier, every time I get on that attraction, I'm reminded of and I think the word charming, Craig, is perfect, how very charming and endearing that ride is. And I enjoy, I don't like the Hufflepuffs and Woozles so much, but I do like the puddles of rain on the ground and the different portions of the track. It's pretty delightful. But for me, I love the queue very most.
What about you, Craig? You have a favorite part that when you think of Winnie the Pooh, it's the first thing you think of? Or is that the first thing you think of a bad thing?
Well, my favorite part, I kind of said it joking over Denny as her answer was everything, but the tough part about this attraction for me is that this is my favorite part of the Winnie the Pooh story collection altogether that became the Many Adventures of Winnie the Pooh, the film that you can go out and watch on Disney Plus right now. That's broken down into 3 different anthology stories because they were all different shorts and then got smashed together. This is my favorite one. So like, there's hating on Heffalumps and Woozles already. I love that scene, especially like that. Even though it's not necessarily the music you hear in the attraction, it's like when it goes into the and they start doing like the ballroom dancing of honey characters and such. It's so weird. It is just goofy, but I like the entire storyline and progression, and it really does follow the short the entire way through, starting with it just being a windy, blustery day.
Okay, I was going to say, what short is that, Craig? Because you didn't say.
I didn't say. No. It's another one of Craig's classic. I'm going to start a sentence, skip to a different part in the middle of it, and maybe I'll get back around. It's eventually I usually do, but yeah, Winnie the Pooh and the Blustery Day, and so it's starting out. It's Wednesday. It's blustery, and all the characters are in fun positions. Pooh's hanging onto a balloon. That's insane. And then, Kanga and Roo are in a heap of trouble, holding on to the blanket as they're almost getting blown away. At least I think. I don't remember. We watched it like 2 seconds before we started this, and it's already completely out of my memory. But
right, yeah.
But overall, it's the Tigger section, Tigger actually bouncing. That's just it was the perfect use of that ride vehicle, making those extra movements, going up and down with Tigger, and Tigger's just the best anyway, so that's great. But even then, having the cars do the floating movements as you're moving once it's all flooded and everything's like, I really enjoy every aspect of this attraction. To me, it's one of those ones that it's not remarkable, though. While I love it, it's not like if I saw it was a 20-minute wait, I'd be like, ooh, I'll come back when it's a 5-minute wait. And I don't even have, a lot of people still have bias over that. It did kick out Mr. Toad's Wild Ride. And, they have the little homage in the attraction to Al and Mr. Toad together in Al's house. So there's little bits and pieces like that, but to me it's just like I'm only willing to wait so long for dark rides that have a very small payoff. That will probably change when I have children one day and they are obsessed with this thing. But for me right now, it is what it is.
Learn those patience. That's what's coming your way. I have to agree with you about the ride vehicle, like the motion of the ride vehicle. I do think is something that is like a fun little, unique thing to this attraction. I like how it starts out one way, and then when you get to the bouncing of the Tigger, you're like, whoa, this is fun. This adds a little extra element here. I think I do enjoy like the nighttime scenes the best for me. Like the rain room, specifically. I don't like the transition into the rain room where it's just all lines painted on the wall. But I do like the room when they're in the rain. But my absolute favorite part is Winnie the Pooh when he's doing this. Like he's eating the honey, and it's just him repeatedly with his hands in the honey, and it's all over his face, and he's just going up. Like I want like an ornament or an action figure or something that can be like, how they have the birds that dip in the water. I just want it to be like Pooh eating the honey, and I want it on my shelf at all times. Like that's like my favorite part. But I agree with Denny. Like I'm sorry, I know you just said it was one of your favorite parts. That the Heffalumps and Woozle part is weird to me. I don't know why that's the one part of these shorts I can't remember from when I was a kid. Like I remember Winnie the Pooh going up in the tree. I remember him getting fat and getting stuck in the hole. I remember, the rain and stuff like that, but I just can't remember that specific part. I might have been traumatized and blocked it out. It might have something to do with they remind me too much of the pink elephants from Dumbo. And so I get like nervous, like they're that creepy, we're coming to get you. But for me, it's that room. I don't like the room that much because everything is very two-dimensional almost in that room. And if you look at the other parts of the attraction, they're all very three-dimensional figures. You know, you're like, they're physically like there. And I feel like when you get to the Heffalumps part, it's just this weird flat thing. Also, the scene where like they were like, okay, we've got this idea. We're going to do this thing where like Pooh falls asleep and he's dreaming. It looks like he dies though. Like he's passed away and the ghost has flown out. And also it leaves at such an alarming pace that you're just like, wow, he was like, I'm out.
There he
Bye.
goes.
Yeah, it wasn't just like, la, 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 la. It's just
a great
like, whoa.
effect. It's a great effect. I still love it every single time. It's one of those ones where like once you learn all about it, you know, it makes sense why it works. But it is one of those like the first time you see it, you're like, how'd they do that?
Yeah.
And I love when they can incorporate those effects, especially into a simple Disney dark ride. But where you don't like the flatness of it, that's where I see it in a different way. Like it's the change in dimension is what's telling you that they are in a different world now. It's a different state. So of course it's not going to be that same 3D world that we've gotten. Pooh's still 3D, you know, he's still of the normal type, except for the one little there's like one moment where he's got some flatness to him, but it tells you that you're not in Kansas anymore. You're in this next state, and then we quickly get out of there. So but that's me looking at it from a philosophical standard.
I like
trying to psychoanalyze the many adventures of Winnie the Pooh.
Look for Craig's future book, The Many Adventures of Winnie the Pooh and Philosophy.
Exactly. An analysis.
Yeah.
You know.
A deep dive into the human psyche and what it could mean for the adventures that wait us beyond.
Yeah.
All that and Heffalumps. No, I that's an interesting that's a cool take on this. That is that's I guess I never really kind of just thought about it in that sort of way. So that is an interesting perspective. And I'm sure that's actually probably what the actual story is supposed to be like. But, well, let me ask you all this. So because we're doing the love it, hate it, update it, where do we stand in that? Do you, so clearly I don't think any of us hate it. We're not like, get rid of it, just wipe it, erase it from the memory, whatever, you know? So are you in the love it and leave it? Or would you like to see an update? What do you think?
Oh goodness.
I know it's tough question.
Yeah. I do now that Craig, and it's so funny, Craig, when you were talking and then you said we're not in Kansas anymore, that's immediately what before you brought Wizard of Oz into it, that's what I thought of that, like, okay, we're going from black and white into color. So I understand the philosophy behind using.
We've read the book.
Yes, exactly. I understand that, but I'm okay skipping the Heffalumps and Woozles completely, but and just sticking to the non-psychedelic weird portion of the attraction. So I would be okay if we dropped that. I'd also like to see, in this time of being super aware of germs and all that jazz, I'd love to see something else in the queue that helps kids wait. I know we don't. I was brought up in the age of, hey, you just wait. Like, you make your own fun and you wait. So I get that totally. But it would be neat to see them do something to adapt that queue during this time where there's still something really cool and themed happening, preparing the kids for the attraction.
Yeah. I mean, that definitely makes sense because it is an attraction geared toward younger kids. Having something that's kind of stimulating there for them while they wait is good. I mean, that's got to be across the board at Disney, period. I feel like at this point. But no, what about you, Craig? What do you think?
I'm fine with it in its current state as it is. The only thing I would say is if they ever decide to do like a glam up of it one day where they try to, maybe incorporate video effects or something into it, kind of like what Disneyland was doing with all of their dark rides as they were hitting like anniversaries and milestones, trying to give it just a little extra TLC here and there and freshen it up. Like, I'd be fine if they did that to the Many Adventures of Winnie the Pooh at Walt Disney World, but I think it's got good bones. It's just I feel like Pooh is not a divisive character, but I do know a lot of people that are like, you either love Winnie the Pooh or you hate Winnie the Pooh. And the people who hate Winnie the Pooh, I feel like they are like adamant about, there's no such thing as a good Pooh attraction. It's just Pooh is Pooh in all greater sense of the word.
This is literally Pooh, yeah.
Yeah, and so I would be fine if they touched it up, but for the most part, just leave it alone. It works for what it is. A dark ride in Fantasyland that doesn't need to have an extremely long wait and can still be something that you can get some joy out of.
Yeah, I think I'm in the camp of like what you said about how they've kind of been doing these nice update, like enhancements to the classic attractions, like they've done at Disneyland. If they do something like that, but it's even like I don't know if I look at this and think, oh, this could if they did this here or they did that here. And the thing about Winnie the Pooh is that I can't even be like, oh, I'd like to see animatronics, more functioning animatronics, because the style that you see Winnie the Pooh in this attraction, like that looks like Winnie the Pooh to me. Like that literally looks like Winnie the Pooh off the screen, off the page. Like I don't know that you could make him look any better, or any more authentic, because I feel like he is authentically represented, I guess. Because that's my only thing where I've almost like, oh, I wish the animatronics had more to them, but at the same time, it's that specific type of animation style that Winnie the Pooh is that I don't know that you could go much further with it. So I am in that realm where I'm like, if they update it, awesome. Does it need the update? Is it desperate for it? No, I don't think there's anything about the attraction that screams like, oh, rip it out, do this, whatever. If they did rip out the entire attraction, I would hope that what goes in there is still a Winnie the Pooh attraction. I would hate to see Winnie the Pooh go. So that's kind of where I stand on that. But anyone out there listening and watching, you can let us know what you think. Do you love it, hate it? Do you want to see it go? Whatever. Leave those comments below if you're watching this video. Thank you, Denny and Craig, for having this conversation. Thank you, everyone out there, for listening and watching. And we will be back again with another episode of The Best and Worst of Walt Disney World. Bye, everyone.